this webinar, we will show you how your support team members can save up to 2 hours every single day. I am your host today. Okay, so let's look at today's agenda. The first thing I wanted to do was identify those top 10 tasks that can consume your support team's time. And then identify how much time is actually being taken for each. Now, depending on the support organization that you run, these tasks and the times may actually vary. You may actually have other tasks that may also consume your support members' time. That's something that we would love to hear. So this is based on our own experience and also from speaking with other customers, who have had, similar issues in time being consumed, by such tasks. And then we're going to look at how to free up some of this time with Vtiger. And finally, we go to Q&A before we conclude. Okay, so let's look at the top 10 tasks that consume your support teams. I have classified them under support managers and support agents. In a lot of these cases, both support managers and support agents may be taking up these tasks. So it would very much depend on the duties of your support managers and support agents. Because at Vtiger, we know that even support managers answer queries, they resolve issues. It's not just about managing support agents, but from creating cases to resolving cases, they pretty much do everything. Okay, so for support managers, manually creating cases, that's a hog. It takes up a lot of time. Capturing who reported the issue and where are they from, which company do they work for, and then manually assigning cases to agents, and then communicating targets to agents as well as customers, and then understanding what is going on in their support operations. What cases are open, are there any escalations, are there any violations, etc. And then handling escalations. And this is something that most support managers and even agents have to face almost on a weekly or even a daily basis. And for support agents, working on cases someone else is working on, someone else is already working on wrong cases, looking for information to resolve a case, or just waiting for things to happen. So we'll go deeper into each of these topics, and then finally we'll have a couple of polls to see if these things actually apply to your support teams. So the bottom line is you want your support teams to do less of these tasks. Okay, let's see how the 2 hours is consumed. So this circle represents 2 hours in a day of your support person's time. So we talked about manually creating cases. So this sector shows the amount of time in the 2-hour period taken for manually creating cases. So what happens, right? Why is time consumed when you create cases manually? First is you have to record all the information pertaining to the issue, which means that whoever is recording the case needs to know what is needed for a case to be resolved. So I'm assuming that this could be 2 minutes per issue. This is something that we face. I'm actually not assuming. This is something that we face also. If an agent or a manager is quick, they probably are able to do this in 2 minutes, for each issue. And if you have 5 issues per day that you have to capture manually, that's 10 minutes right there. Okay, so that's 10 minutes for manually creating cases. And this is applicable both to agents and managers, because phone calls can come in, emails can come in, and both managers and agents may be tasked with the responsibility of ensuring any issues reported by customers are recorded correctly. The second one is linking the relevant information. So this is something, again, it applies to both agents and managers. I put manager as the main person here because I'm thinking that agents would be responsible primarily for resolving cases. But in many companies, agents also have the responsibility of making sure this information is captured. So what do I mean by linking relevant information? So first is you need to know who is the customer reporting the issue. You have to look it up. There can be multiple issues from the same customer. And then within the customer organization, who is the person who is actually reporting the case? Again, there can be multiple issues from the same contact within the organization. That's outstanding. It may also be from someone who has never contacted you before, right? So all of this information you have to look up and link them to the issue that is reported. It can actually take a lot of time. So I'm being very conservative here by saying it's 1 minute per case. And if you do this 5 times a day, that's for 5 cases, that's 5 minutes. Now, I'm using 5 cases per day as somewhat of a benchmark. I mean, this could be 2 cases, or I mean, this is an average, and it could be 20 cases in a day, during a peak hour. All right, so that's 5 minutes. And then manually assigning cases. So this is primarily, I think managers do this, and agents are unlikely to pick or assign cases to themselves. So managers have to figure out who is qualified and who is available. So this could take 2 minutes per issue. And if they do 5 per day, that's 10 minutes just to assign cases to the right person. This, we're talking about the manager's time. Okay, that's 10 minutes. And then communicating targets. So customers want to know, right, when they report an issue, so they want to know, hey, when is it going to be resolved? I want it resolved tomorrow. That's the other communications that we hear, right? I need this tomorrow. I need this by end of the week. At the same time, agents need to know when a certain case is supposed to be resolved. What is the expectation, right? So you need to bring them both to the same page. And the same question can be asked multiple times for the same issue. So if it's 1 minute per issue and you deal with it 5 times a day, so that's 5 minutes just to bring everybody up to the same page on targets. Okay, so that's 5 minutes. And understanding what is going on. I think this is very important for managers, right? So if I'm a support manager, I want to see, today, what is the state of the union? Do we have a lot of escalations? Do we have important customers, shouting at us? Have they missed SLA targets? Are there escalations? What's going on? Right. So all of these things, this actually can take more time. I'm thinking this is probably 15 minutes a day if the support manager has to spend more than what he has to understand what is going on. Okay, that's 15 minutes. And finally, handling escalations for the managers. So no manager actually wants to handle escalations every day, but it kind of becomes part of the job, and customers, you will have angry customers, no matter how well you run your support team. But being prepared to handle escalations, I think it will be a lot more effective than being handed escalations by surprise. So this escalations can happen, when an issue had no owner, it had a wrong owner, which means the owner did not resolve the case correctly. Information was not captured or understood correctly by agents. The agent was actually waiting on the customer, for some information. So customer thinks that, everything is done and, I'm waiting for a resolution. Whereas the agent thinks that I'm waiting for information to proceed. So a lot of these things can actually happen if it's not structured very well. On an average, if your managers handle 1 per day, that's 15 minutes. So we have consumed 1 hour already for managers. That's 15 minutes for handling escalations. For agents, working on wrong cases. So I'll give you a couple of examples, right? So one thing could be an agent is not qualified to resolve a particular issue. If you give an advanced troubleshooting case to a L1 support agent, he or she may not be able to resolve it. They may actually end up spending time on it, but they may not be able to resolve it. On the other extreme, if you have a basic query that is routed to an L2 expert, so which could be answered either through a FAQ or through a customer portal, or in 1 minute it could even be automated. So that's the other extreme where you have an expert answering a very basic question. So both of these things should not happen. On an average, if you have 2 per day and at 5 minutes per case, that is 10 minutes gone right there. So working on wrong cases, 10 minutes. So working on wrong cases, there is a part 2 to it. This agent collation, a lot of times, cases pour in, and an agent is actually looking at a case, and three others are also looking at that case because it happens to be an easy case to resolve. So this is the agent collation. And this can happen if you allow agents to cherry pick what cases they want to work on, right? So this is a discipline issue, but at the same time, they could be doing, inadvertently because they don't know that somebody else were also looking at that case. So if your agents do this twice a day, and if more than one agent spends 5 minutes on one case, that's 10 minutes gone right there. Okay, so working on wrong cases, 10 minutes gone. Looking for information. This is a big one, because a lot of times, even if you have a good help desk solution, if it's not customized and if it's not set up to capture all the data that's actually necessary to resolve a case, and if the data is not presented to the agent in the right way, and if the list views are not set up properly so that the agents can pick up the right cases that they need to be working on, they'll end up looking for information. And this could be, on an average, if you spend 5 minutes for each case, and if you handle 5 cases, that's 25 minutes gone just looking for information. All right, looking for information, 25 minutes gone. Finally, waiting. So a lot of times you may have a situation where an agent does not have any cases to work on. That means no cases has been assigned to that agent. The other one is they have 10 cases and they have to figure out which one to pick up, or waiting for information from customer or a third party or other team members. Right? You can just wait. You have a list view. It shows that you are working on a bunch of cases, but you actually have nothing to do, but you're waiting for a customer, or you're waiting for team members' response, or team members' assistance, or you're waiting for a third party. On average, this could be up to 15 minutes a day. Okay, so waiting 15 minutes. So now we have consumed 2 hours, not very efficiently. So this brings us to our polls. I kind of wanted to get your input on if these are the things that your support teams waste time on. All right, so let me bring up the poll. Please bear with me. So I could not do all the questions in one poll, so I had to break it up into 2 since GoToWebinar allows only 5 choices. All right, so I'm going to launch the first one. And then I really appreciate if you can please take a couple of minutes and then, let us know if what we discussed resonates with you. All right, so I have launched the poll. Appreciate it if you can take a couple of minutes to tell us what you think. Okay, I'll leave it open for 30 more seconds and we'll look at the results. All right, thank you. Let me close the poll and we can all see the results. Okay, so it's interesting actually. 44% of the respondents said that manual case creation is an issue, and understanding what's going on is the other part. And surprisingly, actually, capturing who from where is still very low. And manual assignment and communicating targets is also a very small percentage. All right, so I'm going to run the next one so that we get the whole picture. So I will share. The second one. Okay, so I have launched the second poll. If you can please take a couple of minutes to answer these questions, that way we have a full picture. I'll give it 30 more seconds and we'll close this poll. Oh, excellent, thank you. I'll close this poll and I will share the results. Okay, so 43% actually said, a lot of time is spent on waiting. And that's actually understandable. Actually, we face a similar issue, and a lot of customers also have shared this same sentiment. And handling escalations for support managers is also high. All right, so very good. Let's move on. And what I wanted to ask was, if there are other tasks that you feel that your agents or managers spend time on, if you can please put it on chat, everybody else also gets to see, and then we will also be able to take it in as feedback and see what we can do in Vtiger to help that. Well, thank you. Okay, let's move on. So I know that you may be waiting for me to jump into the product, so please bear with me for a few more minutes. So we're going to walk through a case lifecycle in Vtiger. Now, for this purpose, we're going to use a hypothetical company called GrassPods. GrassPods sells audio, video, and surveillance equipment to businesses in Southeast Asia. And we're going to start, from case creation, and we're going to follow the entire cycle. So what I'll do is I will show you what I've done in Vtiger before we actually get into the case creation part. So I'm going to go to the home page of Vtiger. Okay. So this is the home page. So ignore some of the sales part because it's only here since we are only doing the help desk side of things. I'm going to start with the menu, and I'm going to go to settings because I want to show you a few things that I have configured. So I've added users within who are the help desk support agents and support managers, and you can see them here. So a couple of them, both the support CEO and the support manager have admin rights, while the others are support agents. Okay, so I've added several of them. And then I have created groups. So I have an L1 support group. This is the global L1 support team where all the issues will be routed. And then from there, it's going to go to the right support team. So I have a Japan audio video team. Did somebody try to get my attention? Did somebody try to get my attention? Oh, Karan, or Jeffy, are you guys able to hear me okay? Is anything, any issue with the screen or my audio?
We are able to hear you, but you have to close the poll.
Close the poll.
Poll.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Oh, thank you. Is it okay? It's gone now, right? All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Hope that the poll it didn't take too much space out of the screen. So I have created the groups here: L1, Japan audio video support, and there is an escalations group, which will comprise of the senior members when a case violates an SLA and goes to escalated state, and that would end up in the escalations group. And then I also have created a Singapore security group that handles the surveillance equipment business, for Singapore. I mean, there will be other countries, there will be other groups. I just wanted to illustrate how you can actually group based on region and also based on and product, so that you have the competence within a team and within a region to support a particular product. All right, we talked about users, we talked about groups, and then what we're going to do is we have to look at a few other things. So for support, I wanted to show SLA policies. So I've created a standard service level agreement policy. So we're going to use only one SLA, and we're going to use calendar hours, which means that the business runs around the clock. And I've configured some resolution targets. We talked about bringing customers and agents to the same page on how much time they have to resolve the case or to respond to the case. All right. So here, for an urgent case, they have 1 hour to respond, and they have to resolve within 5 hours. And then I've configured an escalation rule. If an urgent case is not resolved within 5 hours, what it will do is it will send an email to the assigned user, the agent who is working on the case, after 1 hour of SLA violation. Okay, so I'm going to use a standard template to remind the agent that a case has violated and also has been triggered for escalation. So here you can also add a supervisor or other stakeholders that may need to know when escalations happen. So here I can add assign to users report. So that will be the manager. All right, so we're going to save this. And then I want to show you a couple of other things that before we actually jump in. FAQ. So this is something that is very useful to have in place and also improve over time. I've created a sample, a small FAQ for only one product, for grass pods, and I've put in common questions that L1 questions that can be answered by the L1 support teams, so that they don't have to ask others, or they don't have to figure out and come up with answers. Right? So these are also common questions. So I would imagine a business like GrassPots probably would have hundreds of these, if not thousands. And when a case comes in, a support agent can come in and basically search, with some keywords, and it will pop out all the relevant articles. And the agent can basically pick which one applies and then use that to either respond, or you can even publish these on the customer support portal for self-help from customers. Because the customers themselves can actually look this up. Before they contact your support team, they have already done, a pre-qualification of the case, and they have specifics for you. Okay, so that's one. And then I also wanted to show you products. So I've added 3 products for this, for the sake of simplicity. There's a conference room phone, a P-Secure camera, and Epson overhead projector. So these are the 3 things that I've actually configured. And then what we'll do is we will go to another important thing that we're going to spend some time on, web forms. So I have created a web form. So this web form, what it would do is, this is something that you would embed in your support portal, so that when you want customers to report issues, you will have a web form and the customers would enter information that pertains to the issue, and that would automatically create a case, within Vtiger. So we will walk through that. I just wanted to show you how to use the web form. So in the web form, what you need to do is you need to decide what are the fields that are mandatory for your agents to resolve a case. For example, if it pertains to a particular product that a customer has bought, so you need to know a lot of information, right? First, you need to know what is the title, right? What's wrong with it? And the status and priority, although they are required fields in the CRM, so this would not be set by your customer. So this is something that would be set in Vtiger. So what you would do is you make them hidden and you just give an override value so that both status and priority will not show up in the web form. Whereas the contact name is actually not needed as well, but it's needed in the CRM as a mandatory field. But that's not something that you need on the web form. So what you do is you make it as hidden, and you just give an override value. These things actually have no meaning. It just means that these three fields will not show up. They're mandatory in the CRM, but you don't want it to be in the web form. Whereas the contact name, the primary email address is needed. So what you do is it's mandatory in the web form, right? Although, you don't make it hidden so that a customer will not be able to complete the web form unless they give their primary email ID. So once you get the primary email ID, that's a unique identifier. You can then tie the organization, you can tie everything together. That's why this is important. And the product name is mandatory. Mandatory on the left-hand side is for the web form, because you need to know what product the issue pertains to. Country is important because it helps you route it to the right support team. And the serial number, you can actually make this mandatory if you have service contracts. In Vtiger, you can actually tie serial number of a product to a service contract so that when the warranty is expired, you can have a status called warranty status and have it automatically updated when the contract actually expires. So this is not something that I have configured, but I just wanted to share this, and because we've implemented something like this for another customer. All right, so these are all the basic things that I have done in Vtiger, and we will jump into the web form quickly. All right, so let me go back here. Okay, so we're going to walk through case creation. A customer reports a case. So as I said, web forms are effective if you need specific structured information to route cases. And then the case is created with all the required fields, and I'll show you, and it's linked to the contact and the organization, and it is routed to the L1 support team. The reason why I'm doing this, it is a common practice to route cases to a centralized L1 support center. Information in the case is validated by the L1 support team and then sent to L2 only if needed. So that L2 is usually considered experts, so their time is very valuable. You only have a few of them. So you want to make sure that everything is validated and their time is used as efficiently as possible. And we're going to try the same thing with email. All right, so we go here. So I want to bring up the web form. So this is how the web form shows up in the one that we just looked at. So case title was mandatory, primary email was mandatory, product name was mandatory, country was mandatory, and serial number, as I discussed, I did not make it mandatory. And if you look at these, you notice that the priority and the status of the case has not come in. So what I'll do is I would say projector lens cracked, right? So I would say I want to look up a customer's name here and use that. So we go to contacts. So I've added a bunch of contacts here that we're going to use, and I'm going to use the first one from Align Prost. Right, so we're going to enter that here, and then product. There, for 1 second. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so and I'm going to select the product name as the Ipsen OHP, that's the projector, and I'm going to select the country as Australia, and I'll leave the serial number blank, and then I'll submit this. Okay, so it's success, and then you can have a return to another web page. It may actually return to your home page, so that option is there in the web form, and I didn't have this since we don't have a GraphSpots web page that it can return to. All right, so let's go back here and let's go to menu, and we're going to go into cases because I want to show you. So projector lens cracked. This is the case that we just created in the web form. Now it has come into Vtiger and it's being captured. The status is new. By default, any case that is routed, that's created by a web form, we consider it high priority. Priority is already set. And it's not assigned to anybody yet. As I said, when it comes into L1 support team, we encourage the L1 support agents to basically tackle cases as and when they come in. But if you want, you can actually directly route it to the Japan projector team if that's what you want. So here I routed it to L1 support so that the L1 team has a chance to validate it before sending it off to L2 support, right? So country is Australia, time left. And then the product name is here. And then if we go into this case, you'll see it has already been linked to the contact, and the contact is actually linked to the organization. So if you look at the organization name, it's real mix. So the agent did not need to do anything. So because since we leveraged the web form and we ensured that the requester of the case takes the time to put in all the information that's necessary for the agents to resolve the case, the agents didn't actually need to do anything. It's already there. It's in the L1 support inbox, and somebody in L1 can actually start working on it. So let's see how it looks in an L1 support team's inbox. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to open a new tab here. All right, so we're going to go to users, and we're going to go into groups, and we're going to go into L1, and we're going to log in as one of these individuals, right? So let's try logging in as Hayden, and I have to use a different browser here. Okay, so I've already logged in as somebody here, so let me close. All right, so there we go here. So I'm going to log in. So bear with me, it's a little slow. Okay, so I've logged in as Nikki Hayden, who is a member of the L1 support team. And I'm going to go into cases. And if you see projector lens cracked, that has ended up in the L1 support team. It's not assigned to anybody. So if I was Nikki Hayden, when I log in, I see this case just come in. And then I can decide to work on it. So what I do is I will basically open this up. And then, so it shows that, okay, projector lens has cracked, and it gives me all the details, who has reported it, and everything else that I need to do. So one thing you have to do for your support agents, you want to customize this fields, right? You want to customize these fields so that the most important fields show up in the right place. So this would depend on what kind of business actually you run. For example, if I go to summary field, I want to make sure the warranty status is set. Here the warranty status is not set because I have not configured the service contract. So warranty status is the first thing a support agent would look at, right? If the warranty is void, so you don't want to send this off to L2, so you want to let the customer know that they need to renew the warranty or the warranty is out, right? And you look at the case title and the priority and how much time the agent actually has, right? And you know who is reporting the issue, right? And then you can choose to reply, right? So you can ask for more information from the customer. We can see that so when you know, did this happen? Did this happen? Because of impact. And the agent has to accept and send the case. All right, so I'm going to leave it. I'm going to put it in wait because I need an answer from the customer, and then I'm going to say. So now what has happened is if I'm going to go to L1 open cases, so this is assigned to Nikki Hayden now, so that when somebody else from the L1 support team logs in, they know that this case is assigned to Nikki Hayden and the case state is wait. That means Nikki Hayden is actually working on it. So you avoid multiple agents actually working on the same case because this status tells you exactly what has happened with it. Okay? And if the case is not assigned to anybody, if it is new, then I go here. If somebody else is actually looking at the case, it would show here, right here. It would basically show if Nikki Hayden was, if Emily was looking at this, yeah, the letter E will show up so that hey, Emily is already looking at this case. Maybe I shouldn't, right? If more than one person is looking at it, you'll actually see them here. All right, so we sent off the response to Alan Frost, and let's see what's going on. So this is the customer. This is the customer who reported the issue. And so I got a reply. So I got a reply from the agent, so which says, did this happen because of impact? Now, I have to, just 1 second here. Bear with me. I'll explain what I'm doing. So now Alan Frost replies saying that no, they did not. No, this did not happen because of impact. The reason why I changed this email address is this is the address that has been configured in Vtiger mailroom. Ordinarily, what would happen is all the email interactions will go through your support site, right? You'll have a support inbox, and all the emails would basically go through them. Since we don't have that, I'm actually replying directly to the Vtiger support address. What will happen is this reply will get linked to the case automatically, and we will see this now. So I'm going to send this out, and we'll go back here and all right, so I'm trying to see which one. Bear with me. Okay, move this to the side. I'm going to see who is logged in here. Okay, good. All right. All right, so let me go back to cases. So this was wait for customer, right? Because I was waiting for the customer, and the customer has now replied. So in a couple of minutes, the reply will come in, and it will get linked to this case. The reason why I'm kind of spending time on this, I want to make sure that the process is understood well, because the support agent is basically making sure that before it goes out to a L2, he has done the primary diagnosis. That way, the L2 agent can actually jump into it and fix the problem based on what he already knows. All right, so let me refresh this. This may take a couple of minutes. Okay, so if you look at this, I had put it on wait, but Alan Frost replied, and it goes back to open, because the customer has replied. I was waiting for information, and I see that no, this did not happen from impact. So what Nikki Hayden can do right now is go here, and you go to support, you go to FAQ, right, and see cracked lens. So this will not show up anything because there is no article that pertains to this. So what we encourage is the agent who resolves the case go ahead and add a FAQ entry as to after diagnosis that why the lens cracked. It may be because of overheating, right? So that's something that a discipline that needs to be followed so that this question can be actually answered in a couple of minutes if that information was actually in here. So since this was not in the fact, so what, go back to cases, sorry. So I would go here, Nikki Hayden would go here. 1 second, I want to show one more thing. You see the small email icon here. That means that the customer has actually replied and it's awaiting your response. So what Nikki Hayden would do is he would go in. So he needs to assign this to L2 support. He knows this. He knows this pertains to Australia, and it's an OHP, so it's AD. And the next thing to do is route it to that group. So what I'll do is go in here. Since I don't have a group in Australia, we're going to reuse the Japan audio video support for this. I would go assign it to Japan audio video support. And you can actually assign it to a particular person within the Japan audio video team. But Nikki Hayden doesn't have visibility into who is the best person here. So we're going to leave that empty and save. Right, so page. So what we have done is this particular case has been now routed to the Japan audio video team. Now what we will do is we'll go in here and we will look at, we'll pull up a person. Sorry, we'll go here. We will go into users. We'll go into groups and go into Japan audio video thing. So Emily is a person in the Japan audio video thing. And what would happen is once it's routed to the Japan audio video team, I have set up round robin to automatically assign the case to one of these three in a round robin fashion. So you'll see this case either is assigned to Emily, already had a case assigned to her. So it's likely that Shinya will have that case assigned to him. So we can see who the case has been assigned to. Right, so let's go here. Right, so, okay. Okay, projector lens crack. As I said, right, it's been assigned to Shinya because Shinya was second on the list. Emily was already assigned the case. So what round robin has done is that it has assigned the case automatically to Shinya. So what this automatic assignment has done is it has removed the burden of a support manager to identify the right person within the L2 team to assign the case to. So we have routed it to the correct team, that handles the product and in the right region, right? So you've removed the burden of all of these tasks, from the support agent or the support manager. Alternatively, what can be done is that on case creation, you can actually look at the country and you can look at the product and you can route it directly to that team without it going through L1. So the way I have set up here is that to make sure that L1 pre-qualifies the case before routing it to L2. So that's an option that you can use. I know that one of our customers actually routes it directly to that regional team, although it's an L1 support team. And then the L1 support team actually hands it out to the next team. Now, when we look at this particular case, in case of the projector lens crack, right? So this may involve a replacement, this may involve a repair or whatever. So in that case, the support agent, the L2 support agent would create an RMA order. It's a return merchandise order or replacement order within Vtiger. And you'll have the tracking number, everything. So you can do most of all of these things, within Vtiger. This is something that I'm not putting here, but we have just implemented this for one of the customers, and I'll show you the use case. Spend a couple of minutes on this. Now, I want to bring to your attention. If you look at this N here, so Nikki Hayden was looking at this case, right? So it's here and shows up on this case, so that you know that somebody else is actually looking at this case. All right. So we talked about. I'm going to go back to this. So we talked about a customer, reporting the case, using the web form. Web forms, they're effective, right? When you're using specific structure. Now let's try and do this with email. The challenge with using email as a channel is you can just say that, something is not working, right? Then you have to figure out, you have to go back to the customer, ask, for a lot of details. All right. So I see some chat messages. I want to make sure um, to see the screen. Okay, this is not able to see the screen. Okay, that was a little while ago. All right. Jyoti, just wanted to confirm, is the audio and the video okay?
Yes, it is working perfectly.
All right, thank you, thank you. All right, I think we probably missed a few minutes there. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so let's go back, and so we're going to use Alan Post again. So we're going to compose. So this is the email address that I'm going to send the query to. So what would happen normally is that this would be support@grasspots.com. This email would go to support@grasspots.com, and in that inbox there will be a forwarding rule that takes that email and forwards it to the Vtiger address, and then the case gets created. So let's say remote, 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 or no, projector is not working. So now this is challenging, right? You send this out, it will create a case, and then we'll have very little information about it. All right, so we'll give it a couple of minutes. Okay, so while this comes in, so let's actually go back. So it can take a few minutes for the case to come up. So I wanted to make sure that I cover all the topics. So we talked about how the case is routed to L1, and we talked about the SLA targets and how the L1 support agent picks up the case. They look at the flag and they escalate it to L2. All right, so we even looked at wait states, right, working with cases when L1. All right, what I can make sure that's done. So, second line. No, it's not coming yet. All right. I'm briefly going to jump into this, if you can bear with me. So this is some automations that we did for a global customer. We talked about service orders and all that. So what you can actually do when it comes to handling returns and all that is when a case comes in that involves any returns, right? So you can create. I want to go to the step, right? So in the first step, this again we're using the Grasspots, right? So an issue was reported about overheating projector, right? And the case was created, and the case was actually assigned to L1. And Amy, who is a support agent, basically created a replacement order for the defective heatsink because that's what they found using diagnosis. And then it was actually routed using an RMA or an RMA order or a replacement order, within Vtiger. And all they did was give the shipping address that's actually pulled from the contact information automatically into the RMA order. The only thing that Amy had to do was give them the replacement part number, and the new part number that's going to the part that is being replaced. Based on that, we had the replacement part number automatically pulled in, and the warranty status. And all the support agent, so the shipping agent does is ships the part and fills in the tracking number field. And Vtiger basically closes the case, sends an email to the customer with the tracking number, and marks the case as a result. So once it's out of Amy's hands, she doesn't even have to look at it. It'll come back to her when the part has been shipped, and it says it's been shipped. And within 2 days, the case is automatically closed. So the number of touch points, for the L1 support agent as well as the warehouse agents, actually very minimal. They touch the screen very few, only a couple of times to actually fulfill a complete replacement order. So I'll send you guys the link so that gives you an idea of the amount of automation that you can actually achieve with Vtiger to make your agents more efficient. All right, so let me see how we are doing on time. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to see if there's anything else. Let's see if the case has come here. So if it's not, then I have to see. It's probably taking, oh, right there. So remote for the projector is not working. So we sent it from the email. So this is coming. So by default, when a case is created using email, we mark it as medium priority. And then when we go here, it shows 9 days left because that's the SLA policy I have for the medium priority cases. And we have, again, we have the alarm trust and we have the organization capture, but nothing else because we don't know what country and everything else. You can actually pull in the country from the contact, if that is something that you want to do with the workflow. But you want to make sure that it's better if the customer actually fills this up and if they tell you the product name. Because if you had multiple projectors that you were selling, and then you don't know the product name. You have to go back to Alan Frost, ask him which particular projector are you talking about, right? So it takes time. So you're going back and forth. So using the right channel to get information for the right cases is very critical. All right. So this is one. And okay, so let's go into closing and waiting cases, right? So when you have cases, right, that are resolved or that are waiting for customer, so you want to move it off the list from the agents who are working on it, or else you'll feel that, okay, it requires my attention. So you bring that case back up only when the customer actually has replied. Because a lot of times, we talked about waiting, right? So when you have cases that are in wait state, you don't want to see them in the list, right? So this list view is actually very critical for your agents so that they can prioritize what they need to work on. So these two icons help you because the customer has replied and you need to get back to them. And if I were to put something in wait state, you can configure the list so that move the cases that are waiting and that are resolved off my table so that I don't need to see them until they're either reopened or the customer replies back. All right, so that's waiting. Okay. So, all right. So, I mean, I kind of wanted to cover primarily the simple things. And before before we go to a summary, I wanted to show you this for primarily for managers. Okay. So once again, I'll show you from the menu. You go into Support Insights and you click on Support Insights. Okay. So today we're going to look at only the top 4 widgets because I don't have enough data for the charts. And the top 4 widgets are something that the support managers will look at every day. So what this does is it tells you quickly what is happening, the current state of the union with your support organization. So that means 2 cases have violated SLA, and one of them was urgent, the other one is medium. If you go here, it says it has been assigned, but the agent has not accepted the case yet. So it has violated SLA, it's an urgent case, it has been assigned, but nobody is working on it. So what you can do is you can go here, you can go to the case, and you can go to the summary. And you know that I've already posted on the comments here, can someone look at this? And since it's assigned to Aguri, so you can add a comment again. We can say at Aguri, can you look at this? Can you look at this immediately? Okay. So this is something that Aguru Suzuki will actually see because he's the owner of the case. It has been assigned to him. It's been escalated, and he has not even started working on it. All right, so that's something that you can do with Insights. And there's another medium priority issue, but this assigned, it is the same thing. Nobody has actually accepted that person. If you go here, it will pull up that particular case. So from Insights, you can drill down into the specific offending cases so that you can see what is actually going on. And when you look at the current backlog, this tells me what's going on. It tells me that there's one urgent case, there's one high priority case, and there's 6 high priority cases and 3 medium cases. And then if I look here, it tells me that 4 of them are in new state. That means they've not even been assigned to anybody, and 2 of them are open. So I'm just curious. I want to see what's going on. Why do I have 4 cases that have not been assigned to anyone? Right? So they're in L1 group. That means the L1 agents are not picking these things up fast enough. Right? I either need to add bandwidth to my L1 team, or I need to figure out why they're not getting picked up on time. All right, so we close this, go back to Insights, and it tells you how long cases have stayed in the pipeline. So if I click Urgent cases have stayed in the pipeline for 21 hours, so which is very long. And for high priority cases, 13, and medium cases is 13. When I go here, I can actually go look at this. So this is showing that it's 16 hours. It has been assigned, and nobody has accepted it. Right? And then this is another one that may be of interest to support managers, because I want to see if there are any impending SLA violations. In the next 1 hour, there are no SLAs that are going to expire. In the next 6 hours, there's one, and I want to see what that is. So it's a high priority case, and it's in open state. So in 6 hours, right, this SLA is expiring. It's open. That means somebody's actually accepted it, and somebody's actually working on it, so which is good. And if I look at the next 24 hours, there are 6 cases. And 6 of them, all of them are high priority, and 4 of them are new. So in 24 hours, there are 4 cases that need to be picked up and resolved. So there is a good chance that at least a couple of these may violate SLA, right? So this gives a heads up for the manager, right? When you're looking for information, something that takes half an hour, in Vtiger, in a couple of minutes, you can be up to speed on what is going on, with my support team. All right. I think we have a separate dedicated webinar for this. We did it once, and we also have I think, video that we can share about support insights. So finally, I kind of wanted to come to some closing thoughts, right? Some things that you can actually start doing today, right? Encourage customers to use the right channel. Specifically, if it's a product-related issue, and if you have product-specific teams in regions, make sure you get all the information from them so that you don't have to go back and forth, right? And that's the second point. And organize your support team into groups, right, to enable auto routing, and use auto assignments, right, for advanced support agents, so that use their time very well. Right? You don't want support agents to be waiting or cherry picking cases, etc. Especially L2 agents, right? And then customize lists, as I showed you before, right? You want to make sure that agents and managers see what they need to see, right? I mean, remove all the distractions, remove all the fields, or hide all the fields that are not relevant, and add the fields that are relevant to them.